The father was about to be declared homeless by the family court because the son, who is supposed to be the guardian, has been inadvertently deported to Mexico. But being a DACA recipient, the consulate said you never formally were admitted into the US. And because you've been unlawful in the US, now you have a 3-year bar, so we cannot issue you any non-immigrant visa. So the client, who's been in the US his entire life, graduated from a great university, now is stuck in Mexico where he's like never lived. He cannot come back to the US. His father needs him and he has a court hearing. How can he get into the US? This is a story about humanitarian parole. In other words, it's about the good graces of the CBP officers at the border. Hi everyone, my name is Joseph. I'm the managing partner here at Zhang Associates, where we solve legal problems with creative solutions. So the legal problem in this case is that the client, he has a 3-year bar. He cannot come to the US. He cannot get any non-immigrant visa to come to the US. DACA only allowed him to stay in the US, but the moment he left, sorry, boom, that's no longer gonna protect him to get back into the US. Most people who are on DACA status, if they're gonna leave the United States, they should apply for advanced parole, and once that is granted, then they have the peace of mind that when they leave, they should be able to come back. Of course, they could still be reviewed, but most of the time, if you get that granted, you should be able to come back to the US. After you come into the US with an advanced parole, then you've formally been admitted, and then if you apply for adjustment of status through an immediate relative, then you could get a green card. That's the part where the client didn't do it. Why? It could be inadvertent error, it could be a miscommunication with the attorney. Whatever the case, that's where the client was at, and obviously it's a very terrible situation. Worst of all of it is that his father depends on him, and in the estate court, he needs to be the guardian. And if he doesn't show up to the court hearing, then the court ultimately has to put him on the streets. It is a complicated situation, and the only solution that we know of is if you take this fact pattern, present it to a CBP officer, and have them understand it and be gracious enough to parole them into the US. But how and why would a CBP officer at a border listen to this complicated story and make an adjudication such as this? Well, we tried. And we not only tried once, we tried 3 different times. And the first 2 times, I have to say, the answer was no. The officer was like, this is a crazy situation. They were very, very reluctant to even hear it. First time, no. The second time, no. And we didn't go back each time with the same fact pattern, right? So the whole like estate court situation, that happened on the 3rd try. The first 2 times, it was purely like his life is there, his work is there. He's a DACA recipient. They were sympathetic, but they're like, we really can't, right? But the 3rd time we went back, it's like, look, there's now an estate hearing. The father is going to be put on the streets. It's now a humanitarian crisis, right? The officer was able to be more sympathetic this 3rd time and said, you know, seems crazy, but let them come in and we'll give them a fair hearing. When we heard that, right, when we hear like they will give a fair hearing, that's for us the green light. So we had the client fly over to Tijuana, prepared everything. They went in, and there were like multiple officers that reviewed this situation. It's so unique. Humanitarian parole, you have to understand, it's basically saying you do not have a valid document to enter, but out of a humanitarian consideration, we are willing to parole you in. We will grant you entry, knowing because of your DACA status, because of your immigrant petition, you will now be able to get a green card. And the client was so happy. We were thrilled. This is an absolute crazy case, and I just want to share this to you. I hope you found this interesting. I definitely loved it. So thank you for watching, and if you have any questions, feel free to reach out. Take care. Bye-bye.